Yeah, welcome back to something about the element. If you're having a power steering leak or a power steering problem, check for leaks first because that'll cause a lot of problems. I noticed even on my green element, the power steering lines, they become very mushy, and it's the low pressure side. Mushy where you need to replace them. One of them I actually just cut the end off and put another clamp and it worked perfectly fine. So I think I have the same problem on here where the power steering line, the low side, is probably leaking from both ends. Because you have your rack, from the rack it goes a soft line to a hard line, and I believe that's one spot where it leaks, and then it cuts across the front of the engine to the other rubber hose that goes to the reservoir. So I'm gonna pull all that apart and because I want to drain the power steering, because I think I know it's okay to use ATF for power steering, but I just like to use power steering fluid, which I got from AutoZone. So I'm just going to use that power steering fluid that's for Hondas and Acura's and any other Asian car pretty much, and we're going to drain it and put that in there. So let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so this is your reservoir. This is the low side right here that's going down to that hose, and you can see, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit and put some light on it. You can see it's kind of wet, and then that line goes down across. Let's see, come on, focus, and then it drops down. Let me see if I could. Oh, here I can see it this way to right there, and I believe. Hold on, let me focus. That right there, I believe that's what's the problem, because you can see that it's all wet there too. So I had cleaned it. That's why it's not a whole bunch of a whole bunch of fluid everywhere. Right here is your high side. That normally, if that blows, then you have fluid everywhere, and that goes to the rack and pinion on this side. The low side, it goes back over to that hose right there. So that's usually one piece hose all the way over to your reservoir, and you can see how dark the reservoir is. That tells me that most likely it's ATF, and plus it was red. So on the last video I had, I thought maybe it was a transmission because of the color, but then I realized it was where it was at, and a couple of subscribers said, oh, most likely it's power steering. So I'm thinking the same thing. Also, probably change out the spark plugs as well, because I never changed them since I got the car running. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. So let's get started pulling this all apart. I think I got a pan down there. Yeah, I got a pan down there, so we can start draining that. I think that's it. I'll probably pull this line off too. I shouldn't touch it because it's not empty. Not empty. It's not leaking. But in order to get all that out of there, I'm gonna have to, because I want to pull this whole thing out and drain it and clean it out pretty good. So let's get started. All right, so we're just gonna get down in here and undo this one. Let's see if you guys can see that. And there's nothing wrong with these clamps. I don't know. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. So I can get that off of there. All right, so I had barely loosened up that bolt for the clamp, and it just fell apart. I don't see if you guys can focus in on that. Yeah, it just fell apart and just fell right there. So I'm not sure if that clamp is any good, but I'm not going to reuse it. Let's see if I can get this off of here. Probably not. All right, let me try this again. 1 second. All right, I got it off. That joker was hard as a rock. I had to use a tire iron to get it off. Well, it's not a tire iron, it's to take off tires. But it's getting off now. Okay. So next thing I want to do is undo this one real quick, and then we can pull this whole reservoir out. Okay, I just put some paper towels down there so it won't go too much all over the alternator. Oh, I just get oh my god, look at that, it's a mess. Alright, let's go ahead and pull this out. Let me get another paper towel. Pretty sure it's gonna still leak. Alrighty, that's it in all our glory. I need to clean up down there too, like really bad. Alright, let's set this to the side real quick. I got the reservoir all cleaned up. I didn't want to bore you guys with that. This was the other end. I already cut it off and cleaned it and put it back on. This end right here of the reservoir that goes back to the rack, it's got cracks in it pretty bad. Now, if this was anybody else's vehicle, I will probably replace this hose. The hose that's going from the hard line to the racket pinion, I will replace that. This one is actually fine, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But in my case, it's my car, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this part off because we don't need this part anymore. And it will actually still fit. So just gonna cut that off like that. And then we can put our clamp on. Now I'm putting back on the clamp. This actually clamp was from the bottom one. The top one, it flew apart and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I put another worm clamp on that one, and then this end I'm just gonna put this clamp on, and that should hold us just fine. I wonder, should I put this on that side? Yeah. Yeah, because it's really close to that belt. Let's see if I get it off here and just put it on that side like that. And I did clean this inside, but it's still look a little dirty. And it's so the power steering fluid I'm gonna put in there is clear. Now it will turn pink based on, because it's still fluid inside the rack. So that's gonna be okay. If you wanted to totally clean it out, you'll have to flush it several times in order to clean it out. So let's go ahead and stow this back on the car. All right, let's start by just putting this back on the base here. Okay, and then in a second, we're gonna go down to the bottom and hook up that return line. Alrighty, now it's all the way on there. Then we can just tighten up the screw with a helicopter coming. Alrighty, I think that'll do it. Do it there. And then we're gonna put on our feed. Let's see, I'm gonna try to turn this. Alright, I think we're back in business. Some fluid. See how much I'll spill. Okay, so far pretty good. I'm just gonna fill it up to the lower part and let that sit for a second. Then we're gonna start the car.
Alright, I want to change these spark plugs real quick. I hate when oh yeah, that's supposed to happen. I thought it was the other one. So take off the 410s, and then we got 410s to take off here. I'm gonna break them loose. Come on, I ain't got all day. I just like to pop them up like that and then unplug them. Just pop them up, unplug them. It's very simple. And then you get that one, okay. Alright. And then you find the longest extension you can find. The longest extension you can find. And put the wrong socket on it. Alright, here we go. And I like a real long one, so pause. So plenty of leverage. And I'm pretty sure it's supposed to have a rubber grommet in here, but it's gone, as usual. Alright, let's grab a magnet real quick. Ooh, that look nasty. Golly. That one's not too bad. That was nasty. I know it's got that brown stuff is not oil, it's actually anti-seize. I was just talking about just the tip of it. Oh, my flashlight. See how that little brown there? It's like, this one actually looks okay. Just like always, I ordered the parts off of Amazon and they sent me something else. It's spark plugs, but it's like little spark plugs. Or like a lawnmower. Alright, be right back.
Alright, so we fixed the power steering low pressure side fluid leaks. So you have your feed and your return on your power steering, and that's usually on every element I had worked on that always leaked. Even my green one, I actually replaced it twice because the first time I bought the wrong hoses and it swelled up real big and got really smushy. So you got to be mindful of that to buy the proper hose, because if not, like I did, it will swell up. The second thing, wanted to change the spark plugs, but I went to open a box from Amazon, and let me just show you one real quick. And they're off-brand, but I don't know. This is for a lawnmower. I may have got them mixed up with another order that I had, and I thought these was in today, so that's why I was going to change them out. But I think that's ones I did order a while ago, and I'm just now getting them after 3 weeks later. I thought I was going to get those NGKs today, but I didn't. So let's go ahead and start it up and take a look at the power steering fluid. So I jumped straight to put fuel, power steering fluid. Let me show you. Remember, I told you it was going to be pink because it's other fluid in there. And right now it's cavitating. So I did overfill it just a little bit, but most of that is, a lot of that is foam. You can actually sometimes hear the power steering pump if it's low. It'll give you like a whining sound. And if you're doing anything flushing like this, you want to fill it up. It's going to foam regardless, no matter if you're using all brand new, whatever the case may be, it's going to foam. Turn the steering wheel side to side a couple of times. That'll get the fluid back down. And then the foam will actually, over time, it'll go down. I might have to drain some of this out. All right, so that's pretty much it. The power steering fluid, it went back down, as you can tell. Let me show you if I can see it. See, it's back dark red, which is fine, because that's what was in the power steering rack. So I know it's clean fluid in there. So that was one of the big things. I did notice one other problem. That's why it's a little bit darker, because I was working on it. And you can see down there that the radiator, so your radiator for this particular car, and I know a lot of other cars, it's a transmission cooler and an engine cooler. Transmission cooler runs through the bottom and the engine cooler runs through the top. Now, all the vehicles I own, I separate them just in case a car overheats. I don't damage the engine and the transmission, so I put a separate cooler on it, just like I did with the green element. If somebody's new here, let me show you that real quick. So that's my transmission cooler right there, but I got a skid plate with holes in it, but that's the cooler to the transmission. My car's dirty. That if it overheats or the radiator fails, I know my transmission is going to be totally fine because it's a separate unit. I don't like having it together. I think that's a bad idea for disaster. So I have to order a kit for this just to separate it, because I don't want to have it together and go from there. So I'm trying to get this car ready because it's already sold pretty much. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to give it up because I like it. But I have to, because I had too many cars. So thank you guys anyway. If you have any questions or anything like that, please don't hesitate to ask. And also, I will be at one of the Element meets. It's kind of far away. It's in October 18th to the 21st in Denison, Texas. It's at a campground. And I will be out there if you guys want to join us for that. I know it's like 105 people so far that said they was interested in going. I will try to put in the link down below in the description to see if I can find it, but I'm gonna try to make it to that one. A lot of the other ones are really far away, and I just don't have the time and to drive there and drive back and all that good stuff. So if you guys want to, please comment, like, subscribe. Until then, I'll see you guys later.